I'm your host, Dr. Lori, and welcome to Universally Unique, exploring the neurodiverse world of the extraordinary. This podcast fosters curiosity and understanding about neurodiversity while empowering individuals with tools for acceptance and inclusion in classrooms, the workplace, and communities. Featuring shared stories of neurodiverse life experiences, it sheds light on navigating a world not designed for diversity. Universally Unique starts now. I'd like to welcome everybody to Universally Unique. Our guest today is William, who goes by Bill or Will Petrok, and we are going to talk with Bill for a bit today, and then our next episode, I will talk with his mom to get her perspective on his neurodiversity. But before we get started, we're going to take a couple of minutes. We're going to take a few box breaths together. So we're going to breathe in for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Breathe out for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Breathe in for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Breathe out for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Breathe in for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Breathe out for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. There we are. Bill, I probably will ask you later about your superpower, but I have to say today what I think one of your superpowers is recovering from a little bit of frustration of getting into the Zoom, because by the time that I saw your face, I don't know what's going on the inside, but you look pretty calm and composed. So I think you should definitely give yourself some credit for that fast recovery. So what I'd like to do is have you just tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about how you've arrived at where you are right now, which I believe is 28 years old. Am I correct?
29.
29. Oh, you just got older.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of an overview about you, about your life, about some of the things that have gone on and where you are now and what you're up to.
Well, I was diagnosed in 2004 with what was first known as Asperger's or PDD-NOS, which is now later referred to as the autism spectrum. I have had really a lot of hurdles through my years of middle school, high school, and into my young adult life, and even hurdles now to my regular adult life. But all hurdles, I trying to word this.
You seem to be jumping those hurdles fairly well, I would say.
Yeah, it takes a little extra time for me to jump those hurdles, but I get through it.
Okay. Well, and I think a lot of people, when they see a hurdle, will just stop and they won't go anywhere instead of stopping and figuring it out and then figuring out how to get over it. So I think that you've spent some time figuring out how to get over those hurdles, which I think is fabulous.
Yeah, especially if your mom's a special education teacher, then she really nips you in the rear when you're slowing down.
Yeah, she does that, doesn't she?
Yeah.
You were not diagnosed until what, elementary school?
Yes.
So you spent some time in school and no one really completely understood how you were operating in the world.
No. And there's a time in elementary school that I myself didn't know how to work. Because I would always be seeing things differently, have a very more different sense of humor than my classmates. And academically, I just got left behind.
Okay. So once you got your diagnosis and you started getting some supports, did it get better?
Yes.
And then middle school and high school, parts were good and parts were not so good?
Yeah. Middle school, I don't remember too much from it. For what I heard from mom, not too much happened in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
But at the beginning of high school, it was just like, oh, what the heck? Like, I know at one point, one of my counselors didn't have any goals and objectives for me. So it's just like, why am I here then?
Yeah. But I think high school provided some opportunities though for some classes that you really liked.
Yes.
What were those classes?
Uh, History was a very special interest of mine because I love learning about certain time events and people.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my history teachers from high school is actually Congresswoman Johanna Hayes.
Who was she now? No, she wasn't National Teacher of the Year when you
No,
had her, was
I
she?
was like right before she got national. I was just out of high school when she got that. I was just like, wow.
Yeah. Um, for folks that are not familiar with Connecticut, one of our state representatives, Johanna Hayes, was Bill's high school history teacher. She was also actually one of my students when she studied to get her administrative certification, and she was National Teacher of the Year. And I can't remember exactly what year that was, but it was during the Obama administration because I remember seeing lots of pictures of
Yeah, it
her
was
shaking
like
hands.
2015.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we like to take great pride, those of us who are 6 degrees of separation from Johanna, and saying that we know her. And I don't know, we kind of hope that we had some influence over her turning
And
out to be a strong advocate for folks, especially students within schools.
yeah, I remember senior year, I was at a PPT and we were discussing what classes I was going to take for senior year. And I'm like, I want Mrs. Hayes again. Like, I don't care if it's another history. I don't care. I want Mrs. Hayes. So I had taken her Black History class, which is funny because I was the only white guy in the class. So I
I
so
love
I
it.
kind of so I kind of stuck out like a sore thumb, but yeah.
Well, I would think, though, the fact that you were really interested in the subject matter probably made the other students think a great deal of you, and the fact that you were there learning about Black history.
Yes.
Yeah. Bill had the opportunity to go to high school in a fairly large urban community, so you had quite a mix of um, students in your school.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So it sounds like there were some things in high school that had a real impact. And then after high school, what did you do after that?
When I originally was out of like I didn't leave high school right away. Like 2015, like the school year from 2014 to 2015, I I it was a very odd year to try to explain, but basically I was like I volunteered at the counselor's office for part
Mm-hmm.
of the day, and then I would go to the library for part of the day. So a lot of nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
They recommended me going to CW Resource, which didn't really do anything because like a lot of these like outsourcing adult programs that either cater to people with very low functioning
Mm-hmm.
disability, and I was just like having trouble outside of the facility, and but it's like I in between like low functioning and what you would call regular people. So it's just like I have a hard time out here, but this is way too easy for me.
Yeah. So
So
you were in what would be described as a transition program that's offered through special education for folks that
yeah,
are 18 to 21. And CW Resources, I believe, mostly does a lot of like recreational stuff and maybe
Yeah,
workshop things.
yeah, it did a lot of workshop things, and through that year, I discussed with my counselors because they had a transition program at Naugatuck Valley Community College, and I'm like, I want to do that,
Okay.
and they're like, we would love to have you, but there's a catch that you have to do another semester with your favorite teacher, Mrs. Berger, which I hated.
You
Like,
know, we now will be publishing this, and she'll hopefully she won't hear it, right?
yeah, but again, she was not my favorite.
So she was the special education teacher.
So Mrs. Berger was the what we called this class was IWE,
Hmm.
Independent Work Experience. She was in charge for like she's basically like the job coaching for people who are in special education.
Okay.
A lot of people like on the spectrum like me who are more high functioning, but it's just this woman had a very I'm trying to keep this as PG as I can, but she was stern.
Hmm.
She talked down to us like very like belittling us almost. Like ask the wrong kind of questions and you get like a really snappy answer.
Not a good way to
Not a good way
interact
to
with
like
adults.
not even that. It's just dealing with that firsthand going into the job world is
Hmm.
not a good first impression.
No, not at all.
Like for what I know, I don't think she had like any of the students had a positive relationship with this woman because I certainly didn't.
Mhm. Which is it's very unfortunate. At least I would say for myself, because I think you know that I'm actually I have a special education background. I loved that age group of folks that were just getting ready to go out and be independent adults and helping them find what they wanted to do and going to different jobs with them and teaching them how to do those jobs. I think that's a such a fun teaching experience. But obviously it was maybe she didn't like it.
No, I mean I don't know if she just liked it or what, but it's just the way that she is as a person. It was just very demeaning.
That's unfortunate. That's very
Like I
unfortunate.
understand that you're going to come across people in the job life that you don't like, but again, if for someone who's like just getting your foot in the water and this is what you greeted by, it makes you want to like not deal with any of that.
Yeah. There's another hurdle like you were talking about earlier, and you figured out how to get around that one to the next one. So you did the transition program at the community college?
Yes, so the transition with the community college was not with her, thankfully, but our instructor, Mrs. Wilson, who was a wonderful woman. She had a really positive relationship and a very unique relationship to every one of us. Like if I could go back in time, I would definitely take a class again. I should have. I looking back at it now, I had the opportunity to stay another year because I was 20 when I originally finished that program, and they offered to have me go through another year, but I'm like, it's probably going to be the same as last year. Plus, other people that I know are gone,
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of like I just want to get out of high school, kind of
Yeah.
mental state.
So after you finished that program, did you stay at the community college and take more classes?
So what happened was we had like through the transition program, we had like a job site we did once or twice a week. At I got chosen. I don't even know if it was voluntary or just like I was told to go to a um the I don't remember which school it was, but it was one of the charter schools here in Waterbury. But we it was like three or four of us who like helped in the kitchen.
Hmm.
Like we would do the breakfast program. We would like come in, we would set up the breakfast, we'll take it to the students, and then we'll take it back and clean it up or whatever. And the guy who worked both charter schools saw that I had potential for leadership because I was helping another student who was a little lower functioning, but like enough to be like wanting to go to college.
Okay.
So I was helping him. He really liked how that was. So he offered me a job at one of the charter schools. So
Excellent.
I took it. I was there for the summer program, but then at the beginning of the school year, because it was a new school, so they were adding more kids every year.
Hmm.
And when I didn't get that in my mind that the workload was going to like double with the amount of space that we had, I got so overwhelmed. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't do this right now. And so I was like, I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna try to, because I wanted to be an animator at the time because I liked animation in the movies and
Hmm.
stuff. So I went to community college to try to get a feel for the digital arts.
Okay.
I got to a little past the halfway point when I'm like starting to slow down because it takes me a long time to try to process and like actually learn. So
Hmm.
by the time I got one topic done, like in my mind, they were already down like two or three subjects. I'm like, I can't keep up.
It was going fast. Yeah.
It was going too fast, and I sank. I fell into a depression. Like I didn't know what to do with myself. Like I didn't have a job for a couple years. I
Mhm.
just didn't want to do anything. But I got I got the courage and I got a job at the winery up in Watertown.
Oh, okay.
So I was there for a couple months and then COVID hit, which
Hmm.
we all know what happened then.
That was terrible.
So
Yeah.
and so during COVID, everyone in my close circle was like, "You should go back to college. You should go back to college. Do something." I'm like, "I don't know. It's expensive. What am I gonna do?"
Hmm.
So I um I don't know how, but Lincoln Tech caught my eye because
Okay.
they had a culinary program. I had some experience in culinary,
Yep.
so I took that course and got an externship at first. It was a restaurant in a local restaurant here in Oakville.
Oh, okay.
I was there for like 3 days. Like it was like not even out of culinary school, and these people aren't really giving me any structure, any instructions, and I'm just like, oh, what am I doing? What do I do?
Yeah.
So I was there for like a couple days, got that paycheck, and I just booked it. And then a couple of weeks later, a friend of my uncle's who worked through Airmark at the Taft School said that there's job openings, and she was asking if I was interested. I'm like, sure. I need to get through this
Yeah.
externship so I can finish my certificate. And so I went through the whole process of like externship, the hours, and they liked what I did, and they gave me a full time job then and there.
Okay. And
And
you've been there since.
that's where I am.
Yeah. Um, and for the non-Connecticut folks, the Taft School it's a private. Is there a
It, it
boarding component to it?
yeah, it's a boarding school. It's like up and like almost like the very far end of Watertown. It's a very beautiful campus.
Yeah, it is a very pretty campus. Connecticut is full of private schools on really nice pieces of property. So you've been there for a bit, and it sounds like they were a lot more understanding and supportive of you learning how to be in their kitchen.
Yes. The Airmark, the company, has a very good what's the word I'm looking for? Policy where people who are in disability, they have a very like diverse culture. Like
Hmm.
they're accepting for everybody. Like
Good.
these people with this on the spectrum. There's like immigrants, people from different nations, people with different beliefs, even people on the LGBT community were welcome to work in this company, and
Wow.
they give so many opportunities to learn. It's just it's a fantastic spot.
Well, it's so good to hear that because, as you know, unfortunately, if you pay any attention to the news, which we try not to because it just stresses us out,
Yeah.
a lot of those folks are not feeling incredibly welcome lately. One of the things that I know from our before taping conversation is that you learn best when people show you how to do something.
Yes.
And I'm guessing that that's kind of what happened here is that they showed you how to do things before they expected you to do them.
Yes. For example, when I was in culinary school, we had to take the Surf Save certification test,
Hmm.
which was a very big test, and the class was a very small amount of time, and they just dumped a whole bunch of information at you all at once.
Hmm.
And for somebody who like me who learns slower than everybody else, like I took that test twice. I both failed both times. But with the company that I work at, I was able to like get more experience.
Hmm.
And like this past March or this past spring, this past couple months, they were hosting a Surf Save class at the campus for anybody in our work spot work spot to take the test and get the certification. I was very hesitant at first because I know with previous experiences that I did not do good with this test. But they're like, no, 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 you should really try it. You should really try it. It's like, it's free. You don't have to pay anything. Just come in, just learn, try to pay attention as best as you can and do the best you can. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll take the test. And I was there for the entire class, took the test, went home. Then a couple weeks later, when the results came in, I passed. I was like, wow.
Yeah. So there's that superpower persistence again. Yeah. Well, a lot of people would have given up after the first time that they didn't pass that test, or even, maybe taken it a second time, but then said, nah, forget it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I give you a high five for sticking with it. And it sounds like you found a good spot for yourself, a place where you feel comfortable, where people seem to they like you. I think they like you because you're still there, and they're helping you to learn new things. Um, so what else do you have kind of going on in your life? What else are you looking forward to doing now that you have a solid job and you're feeling comfortable there? What are the next things that you're interested in trying to do?
Just try to make it in life. Take it one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to plan too far ahead because you never know when things change.
Yeah, COVID taught us that, didn't it?
COVID taught
Unfortunately.
us that, and it's just anything could happen.
Yeah. But I know that you really like to travel. Where do you want to go next?
Oh gosh. There's a lot of places I'd love to go. Like I would love to go to Australia.
Oh, wow.
Love to go to Rome.
Mm-hmm. Where will you go this summer?
Uh, Mom and I have talks of going somewhere, but we haven't really pinpoint where and when.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in the air, like one day at a time, like I said.
So someplace you can drive to, probably.
Yeah.
And a historical place.
Yes. Probably.
That seems to be the theme of your travel, isn't it? You
Yeah.
like to go places that are historical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Well,
learning about it. I love learning about history.
which is wonderful because a lot of people are not interested at all in history, whether it's a history of the United States or the history of anything else. So tell us what you do in your free time. I think I guessed a while ago once I saw that chair, but do you want to tell us how you spend your free time?
Uh, I play video games a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like listening to music. I like reading books. I hyperfixate on multiple things at different times, so it transitions from like one thing to another.
Okay. And that hyperfixation is, you would say that's part of your autism?
Yeah, like I would find a topic and I'd be like looking at like about stuff about that for like a week. Then I
Mm-hmm.
get bored of it a little bit, and then I switch to something else, and so on and so on.
So, but you've become an expert at a number of things.
I wouldn't say expert.
Well, you've become very knowledgeable about a number of things.
Yes, yes.
Are people interested in talking to you about those things?
Um, I try to keep it suppressed because I don't want to like to over what's the word?
Overdo the conversation?
Overdo the conversation. I don't want to be like info dumping.
Oh, okay. That's a good phrase.
Because
Well,
if I had free reign, I'd be like telling you everything, everything, and everything.
oh, all right. So unfortunately, we're getting really close to the end of our time together. Bill, I feel like we could talk probably for another hour or two, and hopefully maybe we'll have another chance to do that in the future. But I thank you very much for being willing to come on and share your experiences with our audience. I think it's helpful for folks to hear from individuals that are neurodiverse about how their world is and how they're operating in the world and how people can support them. Is there anything that you would want them to know before we finish up?
I can't really think anything at the top of my head right now.
Okay. Something that's kind of coming to my mind right now is be kind and open-minded to get to know people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but thank you very much for coming and sharing your experiences with us. I think it's very helpful. And if anyone is looking to connect with me, there's a couple ways that they can do that. The first one is through my website, which is notoholisticconsulting.com. And the second one is through email at notoconsulting2002@gmail.com. So thank you all for listening. Thank you very much for coming and visiting with us, Bill.
Thank you.
Our next episode, we will be chatting with Bill's mom, Susan. Thank you for listening to Universally Unique, exploring the neurodiverse world of the extraordinary. Join me, Dr. Lori, on Transformation Talk Radio every second and fourth Monday at 11:30 Pacific Time as we continue to explore navigating a world not designed for diversity. For advocacy and support for individuals with disabilities, let's connect. Learn more about consulting and life coaching at notoholisticconsulting.com.